Good morning. I'm a little groggy from lack of sleep, and I wanted to do two things. One, I wanted to get a little more comfortable just talking to the camera naturally, as opposed to being someone who looks like they're reading from a script, etc. So this is totally unscripted. And two was share some pre-shower thoughts about Twitter. So with Twitter yesterday, I had intended in the morning to keep myself entirely distraction free. Do not open Twitter, stay focused on the work. You've mapped out your day perfectly. Let's just go, go, go. We have a lot to do. That worked for most of the day, but at some point in the afternoon, I caved, cracked open the distraction engine that is Twitter, and started going through it. A bad habit that I was about to reinforce. And problematically, I actually found some really good things in Twitter that day. I found a cache of developers who may be looking for new work, folks that we would love to talk to here at Blissfully. I am, in fact, hiring. It's one of my number one priorities. So this is a wonderful thing to find. This is positive reinforcement for using Twitter. And then I spent a good 10 minutes after I concluded some of those conversations mindlessly scrolling through the feed. And that was just a horrible waste of time. So this bad, good habit was reinforced in both ways. Now, I then ironically tweeted about, how is it that I can avoid this? I need to either get out of it entirely or just lean into it fully. And I was thinking about this, and I saw someone tweet a while ago that the best consumers of information in the future will have to get comfortable with a stream of endless info that they are really good at sifting through. What counts as like a meditative, introspective, thoughtful person who keeps themselves distraction free may not actually work in the coming decades, because the most high value signal may actually be like sifting for gold in these rivers of otherwise useless information. I think that struck a chord with me. It finally clicked, because the way through this is to lean in harder, at least for me. I'm not giving up Twitter anytime soon. I think if you work in tech, it would be nearly impossible to give it up without losing something actually productive in your life from it. And so what I've started in the last couple of months, and what I think I need to lean into more, is just being really conscious about how I curate my feed. That sounds thoughtful, and I actually think that's the wrong way to do it. I think what it means is following more things, topics, vendors, people that you are interested in aggressively to up the signal in your feed, because that's one way of reducing the noise. The other way of reducing the noise is to kill the noise. You can mute certain keywords, you can block certain people, you can mute people you follow who are friends that you really don't care about what they say, but you want to keep the social lines open. Those all work. And I think the key thing with muting or kind of curating out things from your feed, one thing to look for are people who amplify rage. There's plenty of things to be outraged about. That's not a question. And I wouldn't want to be dumb to what's happening with world or national politics for sure. But there's a difference between sharing kind of key information and posts that just amplify the rage about those topics. Be wary of each. And if you find people that are accounts that consistently just amplify the anger, that's not helping you stay informed. That may get you outraged, and outrage can be useful, but it cannot be constant. And so I think folks who treat it as a constant output from their stream are ones that you may want to mute. When horrible things flare up that are across the Twitter sphere that you should be aware of, and I'm thinking about Black Lives Matter, things like that are happening in the last couple of months, that's great. That's an acute ball of energy that we have nationally and culturally and even globally right now that can help make change. But if someone were to continue that same level of outrage for, years on end, then it starts becoming non-productive. It's not part of the zeitgeist of change. In that case, it's better to be informed about the different injustices and have a steady progress that you help the world work through to solve them, than to stay in that mode of deep outrage and sort of emotional burnout that necessarily follows it. So those are my thoughts on Twitter right now, is that the only way out is through. Lean in more, and don't curate mindfully, aggressively curate your feed. It will help you hopefully find more signal and reduce the noise, and remain at the front and center of what's actually happening in the world, in tech, in your concerns as a professional, and even in your interests as an individual. So thanks for listening to my pre-shower morning thoughts, and hope you have a good one.